Well, looks like rigor mortis hasn't set in. Body's fresh.
25, New York license, brown eyes, brown hair.
Choked to death on a hot dog.
Not quite. He was choked to death with a hot dog.
You're not supposed to be here, Frank.
None of us should be here. After all, you caught the guy, right?
Could be a copycat.
No, we didn't release the ketchup crown to the press.
Our boy's still out there. And he's learning. He's evolving. With every bun he bakes, with every sausage he stuffs, he's perfecting his technique. He's about to paint his masterpiece. The Triple Deluxe Dog.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week we're taking a look at the Triple Deluxe Dog from Hot Dog Detective Crown of Condiments. Now, I know you guys tuned in to watch me use a power drill on a hot dog just like the Condiments killer, but first, not unlike a detective, we have to figure out why he used a power drill on a hot dog. I think the Triple Deluxe Dog refers not to condiments, but to triple dogs, one of which is delivered via spiralization, the loving act of impaling a hot dog on a skewer and cutting a spiral pattern down its length, creating a hot dog that's mostly surface area, so once grilled over an open flame, it maximizes crispy edges. How does this compare to a factory standard hot dog when placed in a bun? And what does this have to do with drilling hot dogs? Well, to answer your first question, it's pretty awesome, especially if you like your hot dogs charred to a crisp like me. And to answer your second question, I think first hollowing out the hot dog before spiralizing it will permit us to wrap it around another hot dog. Warning, do not try this at home. After all, it would probably be a lot easier to just use a metal straw. Once hollowed out, I am again placing a spiral cut down the length of the hot dog and using its more flexible, forgiving form factor to wrap it around another hot dog, which I'm going to grill on the preheated, well-oiled grates of a gas grill. But to make it a Triple Deluxe Dog, we have to include one more dog. And since the killer worked a day job in a diner, I'm thinking split and griddled is the way to go. Remember to always weigh down your split dogs with a heavy pan to encourage even browning. So now let's see if we can put it all together. First, the split and griddled dog, followed by our double spiralized dog, and of course ketchup and mustard. After all, the hot dog killer is a killer, not a monster. And there you have it, 3 different styles of hot dog crammed into one bun. And so far as I can tell, it seems to be a pretty effective way to eat triple the processed meat in every bite. But the hot dogs from the movie are made from each previous victim, so obviously we need to stuff our own with the closest thing to human meat, pork meat, at least visually speaking. I've got 1 kilogram of pork shoulder and 150 grams of pork fat back that I'm cutting into 1-inch cubes, arranging on a parchment-lined baking sheet and freezing for 15 to 30 minutes. Then I'm going to grind them using the medium plate of a meat grinder, also frozen, and then seasoning with 18 grams of kosher salt, 5 grams garlic powder, 10 grams of paprika, 4 grams white pepper, 4 grams onion powder, and 1.5 grams of pink curing salt. Toss this together until the spices are relatively evenly distributed and divide into 2 piles, because next up we have to emulsify this meat with ice water in 2 batches. So we're placing half the meat in a food processor and slowly streaming in 115 grams of ice water down the feed tube while the machine runs. Rinse and repeat with the remaining half of the meat batter covered down to the surface of the meat with plastic wrap and refrigerate overnight. But before you do, now's a good time to grab a little chunk of it and fry it up. Now's your last chance to check seasoning, namely salt, as necessary before stuffing. Plus, how often do you get to eat loose hot dog meat with a fork and knife? Not often enough. Anyway, it's the next day and we are threading our natural sausage casing onto our sausage stuffer, tying a slippery and very difficult to tie knot at the end of the line, and poking several holes to prevent anything funny from happening. Best laid plans. Go ahead and stuff the sausage to the best of your ability, even if a strange man comes over and takes video of you for a fake movie about a hot dog killer. And once you've used up all your farce, snip off the end of the casing, tie it tight, maybe sneak a balloon knot joke in there somewhere, and then it's time to twist and divide our sausages. And something I learned the hard way is that you want to twist each sausage in the opposite direction of the last, ensuring that they cancel each other out and don't unravel on the smoker. Before they head there, we're going to further torture these wieners by poking them full of tiny holes, allowing gas to escape, ensuring that they do not burst during smoking, which they're going to do anywhere from 1 to 2 hours depending on their thickness. Give them a spin 2 or 3 times during cooking and pull them once they've reached 150 degrees Fahrenheit at their thickest point. Now these guys can be fridged and treated like any other hot dog ready for the grill. But since these guys turned out so darn big, we're going to need a comparably sized potato bun. So in the bowl of a stand mixer, we are combining 415 grams of bread flour, 45 grams of potato flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Then in a separate bowl, we're combining 170 grams of water and 110 grams of whole milk with 2 large eggs. Whisk the wet until smooth and the dry until Smooth, pour the wet into the dry, affix dough hooks, and get to kneading for about 2 minutes until a shaggy dough forms and no dry pockets remain. Then, treating it sort of like a brioche dough, we're going to take 4 tablespoons of room temperature unsalted butter and add them 1 tablespoon at a time to the mixer while it runs, waiting for each piece to be fully incorporated. If your dough's looking a little bit wet like this one, now's the time to add some flour, 25 grams at a time, kneading for at least a minute until fully incorporated, until the dough looks more like dough and less like pancake mix. Turn it out onto a floured worktop and stretch it into a taut ball. Drop it into a nice greasy bowl, cover with plastic wrap, and let rise for about 1 hour until doubled in size. Hang on, let me do the hands thing. There we go. Also, maybe grease your plastic wrap, hindsight's 2020. Turn it out onto a well-floured surface and divide it evenly into 6 pieces, each of which we're going to press out into a little rectangle the same width as our intended bun, and begin rolling it up from one side, pressing firmly as you go. Once it gets to the bottom, we're going to sort of grab every edge and press it towards the center, pinching it shut and gently rolling, stretching, and shaping it into a hot dog bun shape. Arranging it on an oiled and parchment paper lined rimmed baking sheet and covering loosely, this time with generously oiled plastic wrap, before allowing to rise once more, this time for about 45 minutes. Then we're brushing these guys down generously with an egg beaten together with a pinch of kosher salt, every facet, every curve, until they're delicious eggy yellow. Then these guys are getting baked in a preheated 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 20 to 25 minutes until they're delicious looking golden brown and register 200 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit at their thickest point. Let them cool entirely in the tray, and then it's time to assemble. I'm busting out my very largest drill bit for these extra large hot dogs, not a sentence I ever thought I'd say, cutting in that spiral pattern and wrapping them around one of their own brethren. If you're having a hard time keeping your dog in place, you could brush it down with egg white to act as a sort of glue, but hopefully you're not doing this at all. I call this guy the Frankenfurter. I'm also splitting a dog for a right jolly old gridling. We're gonna plop our giant homemade spiralized hot dog on the grill along with the bun. Nobody wants an untoasted bun, even if it is the instrument of your demise. And this time I'm gonna start by placing the double dog in the center of the bun and flanking it with the split griddler, which I'm gonna cut in half with one hand for some reason and place each half on each side of the main dog. Generously drizzle with mustard and ketchup, not unlike the murder victim. And I do think that triple should refer to toppings, so I'm gonna hit this guy with some warm sauerkraut. And there you have it, the Triple Deluxe Dog. A hot dog I'd feel lucky to have for my last meal, even if I can't quite fit it in my mouth. So what are the takeaways here? Homemade hot dogs are really good, spiralized hot dogs are pretty good, and this hot dog is too big. I don't relish saying this, but I have to be frank. And other puns. Wiener. I don't know. Maybe he did die in the mustard factory explosion. Maybe he's still out there. Or maybe, just maybe, we all crave a hot dog sometimes.